Download pause. Plans for an Instagram app, especially for kids, on hold as Facebook faces growing scrutiny over its impact on society. I'm Nicole Burley. It is Monday, September 27th. This is News Nation Rush Hour at our new time. We have those top stories in just a moment. We do have News Nation reporters spread all across the country. And tonight we are also following some new insight into what may have caused this weekend's deadly Amtrak derailment in Montana, what we learned from the newest NTSB update. And late today, R. Kelly convicted. The R&B star found guilty of racketeering and other federal sex crimes in New York. Just how long he could spend behind bars. And in California, investigators still working to piece together the moments leading up to a deadly fall at the San Diego Padres game over the weekend. A mother and her child tragically killed after plunging 6 stories from the stadium's concourse. Police now saying their deaths do appear suspicious. But we begin tonight with 2 headlines out of D.C. Both the House and Senate preparing for 2 major votes today, one on infrastructure, the other to try and avoid a government shutdown. Taking a live look, both chambers of Congress right now, the Senate expected to vote today on legislation to avoid that shutdown, while the House debates the bipartisan infrastructure package. Democrats hoping to get the president's infrastructure bill passed and keep the government up and running, but Republicans are firmly united in their opposition. News Nation correspondent Joe Khalil live for us tonight in D.C. So, Joe, this is perhaps one of the most important weeks yet for the Biden presidency.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy, the agenda in Congress this week, Nicole. Ambitious, to say the least. There are 4 huge agenda items that Congress is trying to get through. And it is fair to say the success or failure of the Biden presidency is partly going to rely on this week. It is on the line. So here's what's at stake. The government is going to shut down on Friday midnight and run out of money unless Congress passes a temporary spending bill. So that's right off the top. Also, the country is at risk of defaulting on its own debt if the House and the Senate fail to raise the nation's credit limit. Economists say that could cost potentially millions of jobs and a market crash. So all that out of the way now. On top of all that, Democrats want to pass $1 trillion bill to fix roads, bridges, airports, and to expand broadband internet. And in addition to that, a $3.5 trillion measure. It basically includes all of President Biden's domestic agenda all packed into one bill. I mean, this is record investment. We're talking about climate change. We're talking about education, social programs, health care, and it's basically a rewrite of the entire tax code so that you pay for it by taxing the wealthiest Americans and corporations. Now, we do expect that price tag to come down a bit. That's where the fight is right now. Moderates are demanding that it go down. Now, Democratic leaders, they can't afford to lose any vote. So that's where the debate is. There's a sizable group of progressive Democrats that are demanding that a vote happen on that $3.5 trillion big bill this week. Otherwise, they say they're going to vote against the smaller roads and bridges bill. They're going to tank that. So in about a half hour, House Democrats are all meeting together behind closed doors. They're going to try to iron out some of their differences. We're going to be there as well. But whatever comes out of that meeting in just a little bit will likely determine whether or not the Biden agenda gets through. All happening all this week. It is a lot, Nicole.
It is a lot. All right, Joe K. live for us tonight in D.C. Thank you. Let's stay in Washington. President Biden received his COVID booster shot this afternoon, just days after the CDC expanded booster access to various groups based on age, health, and occupation. Now, this comes on the same day a vaccine mandate goes into effect for healthcare workers in New York State, where there's now some growing concern about a possible shortage of healthcare workers. News Nation correspondent Tom Negovin live tonight at Manhattan's Mount Sinai Hospital. So, Tom, the governor possibly considering declaring a state of emergency over this possible worker shortage.
Yeah. She's completely considering that. In fact, Nicole, Governor Kathy Hochul is actually preparing to do just that, hoping it doesn't come to it. The worst case scenario, a state of emergency involving a shortage of thousands of healthcare workers in the state of New York, in the city of New York. Allowing healthcare workers from other states, even other countries, to come here to work is the plan that they have at this point. That's what the state of emergency would allow. Even students who are properly credentialed and members of the National Guard who have the proper training would be able to come into the state of New York and practice medicine. Right now, about 84% of medical workers in this state are fully vaccinated. That still leaves thousands statewide who are not. Care homes and hospital systems here say it's absolutely crucial for the health and safety of their clients, of their patients, for all of their healthcare workers to respond positively to this mandate and to protect their staff as well. There are still some holdouts, though, and a lot of them. In fact, some here in New York who are saying, look, I'm coming to work. I'm not vaccinated. If I get fired and sent home, so be it. Fully knowing that taking that position, if they are dismissed for that reason, they are not eligible for unemployment insurance benefits. The holdouts standing very firm on this. The battle for mandated vaccinations being fought on a separate front at the same time, Nicole, inside New York City schools. 150,000 employees, teachers among them, were going to be required to show some proof of having at least one shot by the end of today in order to be able to come back to work tomorrow. But that mandate has been blocked in court now for the second time. A judge granting a temporary injunction, meaning the vaccine mandate in schools will not be decided, will not be enforced until after it goes before a 3-judge panel on Wednesday, and they rule on that. So it's on hold right now. The Department of Education, though, pretty confident at this point that it will prevail, telling principals around New York City to be prepared to have a vaccine mandate in place for teachers and 150,000 workers in total in their schools by the end of the week. Nicole?
Yeah, education workers, healthcare workers, lots of people affected. All right, Tom, thank you for that. All right, let's head to Montana now, where the National Transportation Safety Board says it could take weeks to determine the cause of that deadly Amtrak train derailment. Investigators are now combing through the scene where we know that those 3 people were killed, 7 others hospitalized after that train jumped the tracks. It happened over the weekend. NewsNation's Rudabe Shabazi is here tonight. So Rudabe, investigators did just wrap up a press conference that happened within the last hour. They're saying this happened near a switch in the tracks.
Yeah, Nicole, federal investigators say it happened at a point where a single track becomes a double track. Area residents and first responders rushing to the scene to help nearly 160 passengers and crew members on board when the cars fell from the tracks. The NTSB is trying to figure out the cause of this deadly derailment. The Empire Builder train was traveling westbound from Chicago to Seattle Saturday when 8 of the train's cars jumped the tracks near the remote town of Joplin. That's just about 30 miles south of the Canadian border. 3 people are now dead, 7 more hospitalized. Officials say the engine just kept going straight, but the remaining cars jumped the tracks and landed on their sides. Now they want to know why. And new information this afternoon confirmed the train was going between 75 and 78 miles per hour. The speed limit in that area is 79. But despite that, 8 cars left the tracks one by one. 2 locomotives and 2 cars at the front of the train reached the split and continued on that main track. Officials are now looking into whether the switch played some role in the derailment or if it was caused by a defect in the rail, a problem that regular testing could have missed. The NTSB saying just over 80 minutes prior to the derailment, a BNSF train went by without incident. A 14-member team, including investigators and railroad signal specialists, are looking into the cause of the accident. Fortunately, Nicole, the tracks ran parallel to a highway, so it was easy to move cranes into the position right over the overturned cars. The Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad says it is ready with replacement tracks once the NTSB investigation is complete. And also, interestingly, Nicole, BNSF says the track where the accident occurred had just been inspected on Thursday.
Wow, those pictures, Rudabe. All right, so we know it'll be about 30 days until a preliminary report is issued. But aside from the cause, what else are investigators hoping to find?
Well, they're going to be taking a look at several things, including ejections. There are some questions surrounding whether or not passengers were ejected from their seats or the train. We've also learned that it will be they'll be analyzing the cars and what led to some of the other injuries during the derailment. 30 days for a preliminary report, and then even longer for a final report that might determine a probable cause.
Yeah, looking for answers here. All right, Rudabe, thank you for that. Well, R. Kelly, the once revered R&B singer, is guilty of sex trafficking crimes against women and minors. Testimony ranged from stories about making his victims sign non-disclosure agreements to Kelly having unprotected sex with his victims while he knew he had an STD. NewsNation's Ayanna Harry from our New York City station WPIX has been closely following this federal trial. Ayanna, describe what happened today when the jury finally reached its verdict.
Well, R. Kelly wore a blue pinstripe suit and a white mask in court today, and he sat with his head held down, nearly motionless, as he heard the jury read their verdict. Guilty on all 9 counts. 1 count of racketeering. Prosecutors in this case argued that R. Kelly ran a criminal enterprise for the purpose of grooming underage girls for unwanted sex. And he was also found guilty of 8 counts of the Mann Act. That makes it illegal to cross state lines for immoral purposes. This was a 7-week trial. The jury heard from 50 witnesses, and they deliberated for just under 9 hours before they came to this conclusion. For weeks, they heard from R. Kelly accusers who described a variety of different sexual and emotional abuses. Many of them said that the abuse at the hands of R. Kelly began when they were still underage teenagers in high school. R. Kelly will be back in court in next May when he is sentenced in this case. But this is not the end of his legal problems. He still faces civil lawsuits and criminal cases in both Illinois and in Minnesota. Nicole?
All right, so that sentencing scheduled for May. All right, thank you for that. All right, from New York, now we head to Florida, where the search for Brian Laundrie is, of course, still underway. Many people waiting for some new updates in Gabby Petito's murder. And today, protesters gathered outside his parents' home. That's where Petito lived with Laundrie and his parents before her disappearance. NewsNation correspondent Brian Enton is live for us tonight in Northport. So, Brian, tell us what happened today.
Well, Nicole, still no sign of Brian Laundrie. His parents remain inside the house behind me. They haven't come out at all today, but I'll tell you, the tension is really growing in this neighborhood. There's this group of protesters that showed up, and every single hour on the hour, they get on megaphones and they start shouting messages to the Laundries at their house. Take a listen.
Gabby Petito's family is devastated. They want answers. They want answers now.
Okay, so a tense scene here and just a couple of miles from here at the Carlton Reserve. The search for Brian Laundrie continues. That is the 24,000-acre swamp filled with alligators and snakes where they believe Laundrie might be. The issue is there's been so much rain over the last week. Much of the swamp is now flooded even more than normal, and police are having a hard time getting in, so they're having to use mostly helicopters and swamp buggies, and it's been very, very difficult there. As for the latest on the autopsy report, of course, we know that Gabby's death was ruled a homicide. We still don't have the full cause of death or the autopsy report in full. We're not sure exactly when to expect that from the FBI. Nicole?
All right, Brian, we know that you are on top of it all. Thank you. All right, now let's switch to the crisis at the border. We've seen the human impact the southern border surge has created in recent days. But what about the economic fallout? NewsNation's Marky Martin is back for us tonight in Del Rio, Texas. So, Marky, we know that Haitian migrant camp has been cleared out, but its impacts still being felt.
That's right, Nicole. And that international bridge was closed off for 10 days. Commercial cargo just got cleared to come through this morning. And when you shut off the only port of entry between Del Rio and Mexico, you cut off entirely that flow of trade, of people, of workers, of business, culture, community, you name it. Kids couldn't get into school. Workers couldn't come to their jobs. Just for an example, our cleaning crew at our hotel couldn't get in to clean the hotel rooms. A lot of these area restaurants went takeout only because half their staff was stuck on the other side in Mexico. The mayor of Del Rio saying that every day that this bridge was closed, the city of Del Rio lost out on $17,000 a day. But it's not just that. It's not just the Haitian surge. You talk to locals here. They say their problems began months ago. They say under the Biden administration, the immigration policies are so relaxed that you have this unprecedented number of migrants and Border Patrol coming through, and they're feeling it financially. Some industries more than others. Take tourism, for example. We spent the day out on the water with a local fishing and hunting guide named Ray Hanselman. He says he has lost plenty of business this year because of it.
Buddy.
But so there's no doubt you took a hit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that has something to do with the outdoors or tourism in this part of the border has. I mean, how could you not? It's on the news every day. I mean, would you want to go somewhere where there's 20,000 military-age people standing, wanting, to come across? I mean, yeah, it wasn't a good situation. And
he says he's had lots of clients cancel last minute, deciding that the border just isn't a safe or ideal place to come for vacation or leisure anymore. And Nicole, Ray is a lifelong Del Rioan. He's lived and worked here his entire life. He says for the first time this year, his family has considered moving because it's no longer the hometown he once knew, and it's no longer the same kind of business he once had, Nicole.
All right, so Marky, locals are telling you the migrant surge, though, isn't the only thing that's affecting business.
That's right. I talked to the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. She says lake tourism is down 20% because of what's happening at the border. But you're right. Outside of that, COVID has been unkind as well. And you have that ban on non-essential travel that's been extended to October 21st. And Del Rio and Ciudad Acuña really depend on one another, that flow of people and business every day. It's two cities, but it's one community. It's their livelihood. And that has been cut off. And a lot of locals here say they are unsure how much longer Del Rio can hold on and last under this kind of pressure and also this kind of negative press. Nicole.
All right, we'll see what happens. Marky, thank you for that report. And tonight at 7, 6 Central, On Balance with Leland Vittert airs live from Del Rio, Texas. Leland spent the overnight hours with Border Patrol. He's giving you an in-depth look at the crisis. All right, now let's head to Illinois, where we are less than 24 hours away from the groundbreaking for the Obama Presidential Center here in Chicago. And today, the former president and first lady holding several community events ahead of tomorrow's ceremonies. News Nation's Taman Bradley from our Chicago station WGN is here with us in the studio. So, Taman, we know Mr. Obama and his team, they had some pretty significant hoops to jump through to finally get to this point.
They sure did, Nicole. For the Obamas who made their mark here in Chicago, it was not an easy road to the groundbreaking. The presidential center hit speed bumps. Summer of 2016, while still in the White House, President and Mrs. Obama chose historic Jackson Park on Chicago's South Side as the place to tell their story. Top advisor Valerie Jarrett describes the $830 million project as not your parents' or grandparents' presidential library. The center's campus will include a museum, public library branch, and outdoor space. Renderings show the main tower standing 235 feet above the 20-acre campus. The library will include a garden on the roof. Visitors will see official documents, artwork, even some of Mrs. Obama's famous dresses. With 700,000 tourists per year, the Obama Foundation estimates $3.1 billion in economic impact. But local residents are skeptical. Some push for guaranteed benefits in writing. There was also a lengthy legal battle. First, the center is being built at a park listed on the National Register of Historic Places. That prompted a years-long federal review. Second, a group, Protect Our Parks, sued to block construction. The lawsuit was ultimately rejected by the U.S. Supreme Court. So now, after 5 long years and what had to be frustrating twists and turns, it's time to break ground. In advance of tomorrow's ceremony, the former president is marking the occasion with a virtual chat with young leaders. Mr. Obama wants his center to engage the next generation of leaders. The plan is for a presidential library unlike any other, Nicole.
Yeah, absolutely. Unlike any other. All right, Taman, thank you for that. All right, we're going to talk weather now. We're going to turn our attention to the tropics. Hurricane Sam, now a Category 3 storm. Chief Meteorologist Albert Ramon is live in our weather center tonight. So, Albert, get us caught up on Sam.
So, Nicole, this time yesterday, it was a Category 4, 150-mile-per-hour winds. The good news is Sam has weakened a bit. This is a look at the latest infrared satellite picture. Category 3 right now, 120-mile-per-hour winds, and located 700 miles to the east of the Leeward Islands, and this is moving off towards the northwest. Let me show you the forecast map. That northwest movement, that is important because the latest forecast track keeps this to the north of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Matter of fact, all of the Leeward and also places places like the Greater Antilles, and the forecast takes this just off towards the east of Bermuda as we head towards the middle part of this week. And all of the data in alignment this afternoon, keeping this well away from the east coast of the United States. Big waves, rip current risk for sure later this week into the weekend, but no direct impacts to the United States. Something to keep an eye on, though, maritime Canada about Sunday into a week from today may have some impacts there. That's not the only thing we're keeping an eye on. There are two tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa. Both have a high chance of becoming our next named systems. We probably will finish out the primary list of the hurricane names within the next 10 days. What's left is Victor and Wanda. The only time we have finished up the primary list was last year in 2020 and one other time in 2005. And for the first time, we're going to introduce this secondary list. So I think probably later into next month, we may see Andrea and maybe Braylon on the secondary list. The first time we've ever used those names. The retirement of the Alpha, Beta, Zeta, the Greek alphabet, Nicole, that we talked about last year, they're not using that anymore. Hurricane season, still a lot to go through. Very busy out there. Back to you.
Absolutely. All right, Albert there with the national look at weather. And when we say News Nation has thousands of journalists telling important stories as we speak, we mean it. Our stations are doing their local shows right now as well. This is a look at WOOD. This is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It looks like they were just covering local weather. Right now, looks like they are talking sports. Let's still ahead on News Nation Rush Hour. A mother and child tragically killed over the weekend after falling 6 stories from the concourse at San Diego's Petco Park. And now police believe their deaths are suspicious. What we know about the moments leading up to that fatal fall. But first, Instagram pressing pause on its idea for a social media app geared toward kids. The huge backlash that forced the company to back off, at least for now. All right, so they are not officially ready to pull the plug just yet, but Facebook is halting work on a new photo sharing platform targeted at a younger demo. News Nation correspondent Nancy Liu live for us tonight in Los Angeles. So Nancy, people have been voicing concerns over this Instagram Kids ever since news of the project leaked. So is it fair to say those voices maybe finally grew loud enough?
Apparently so, Nicole. In announcing the pause on Instagram Kids, parent company Facebook expressed a continued commitment to the project, but some lawmakers and many parents insist the idea should be scrapped since Instagram is already causing enough anxiety and problems for people over 13. For months, developers at Instagram have been working on a version of the app specifically for tweens, kids between 10 and 12.
I was not a fan of it on the onset.
Social media expert Sarah Evans has a 10-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter.
I know how it can impact me from a mental, emotional state, and I've been extremely mindful of what my kids are exposed to in that realm. So the fact that they could have had it before the age of 13, I wasn't going to allow them to do that anyway.
In making today's announcement, the company said, "We believe building Instagram Kids is the right thing to do, but we're pausing the work. We'll use this time to work with parents, experts, and policymakers to demonstrate the value and need for this product." Federal lawmakers are among those telling Facebook there is no need. Internal company research recently uncovered by the Wall Street Journal had concluded that Instagram was harmful to young people, specifically teenage girls.
I think that they should be focusing 100% on making their services safe for the tens of millions of young users who are already on them.
Since many tweens skirt the Instagram age restriction, Facebook believes a children's version with stronger parental and safety controls is warranted. But amid a swell of mental health concerns, many remain skeptical.
Anybody with a cell phone can be a bully, and all it takes for some kids is just one comment to push them in the wrong direction.
I'm not comfortable. We're the first generation going through all of these things. I don't want my kids to be the guinea pig of what may or may not work.
Now, Facebook has said that Instagram Kids would be free of ads, but tech experts note that having kids sign up for apps at even younger ages allows companies to hook a whole new generation even earlier.
Yeah,
Nicole?
even earlier. Can certainly understand why parents are concerned. All right, Nancy, thank you for that. Let's head tonight on News Nation Rush Hour. Nearly a dozen former fraternity members charged in a freshman's hazing death, making their first court appearances today. The charges they're facing in connection with the death of Adam Oakes. And all fraternity activities shut down at Northwestern University after multiple students report being drugged. How people on campus are reacting and what's next for Greek life at the university. Thanks for joining us on News Nation Rush Hour. I'm Nicole Burley, and here's what's happening in your nation right now. Congress debating the president's multi-trillion-dollar agenda. That's happening right now. It includes a bill on infrastructure and a temporary spending bill to avoid a government shutdown. As of right now, the government will run out of money on Friday. Economists say a government shutdown could lead to job losses and a market crash. And today does mark the deadline for hospital workers in New York State to be vaccinated under a statewide healthcare worker mandate. Right now, about 84% of hospital employees are fully vaccinated, but there's concern about holdouts who could soon be out of work. The governor says she is ready to declare a state of emergency to allow out-of-state vaccinated healthcare workers to fill in that gap. A new detail tonight in the Amtrak derailment that killed 3 people in Montana. The National Transportation Safety Board says it could take at least 30 days to determine the cause of that derailment. Investigators are combing through the scene where those people were killed, 7 others hospitalized after the train jumped the tracks. A 14-member team, including investigators and railroad signal specialists, are looking into the cause. The singer R. Kelly has been found guilty of federal sex trafficking crimes. The verdict came just hours ago from a New York jury. Testimony included a woman who said she was a radio intern when Kelly drugged and sexually assaulted her at his Chicago recording studio. He could face decades in prison, his sentencing scheduled for next May. And tonight, R. Kelly's attorney will join Marnie Hughes live on News Nation Prime to talk about what's next for the R&B star. That is at 9/8 Central. And police are now calling the death of a mother and child suspicious after they fell to their deaths at San Diego's Petco Park. It happened just before the Padres-Braves game on Saturday. And News Nation's Jamie Chambers from our San Diego station KSWB is following this investigation.
While investigators are processing the evidence, witnesses are processing the terrible event that has shaken San Diego. Homicide investigators are calling the falling death of a 40-year-old woman and her 2-year-old son suspicious after investigators have interviewed witnesses and gathered evidence at the scene.
I've been fully briefed by our police department on the day of and in the days since. It's horrifically tragic. There are a lot of unusual circumstances around the case that we continue to investigate. It is suspicious.
The fall happened from the Petco Park concourse on the west side of the ballpark just before the Saturday game. Mayor Todd Gloria says the event has collectively broken the heart of San Diego, and he's following this investigation closely.
There were several witnesses, unfortunately no cameras, but several witnesses who were there who were clearly traumatized. This is on top, obviously, of the trauma of the loss of the mother and her child. These are very tragic things. This is not why people go to Petco Park. They go to have a day of enjoyment, to enjoy seeing our incredible Padres. That wasn't what people experienced on Saturday. It's very tragic.
The Padres did release a statement saying they were absolutely heartbroken by the events, but declined to speak further pending the homicide investigation conclusion. For News Nation, Jamie Chambers, San Diego.
All right, Jamie, thank you for that. Well, 11 former frat brothers are now out on bond. They're accused of hazing a Virginia Commonwealth University freshman, resulting in his death. Now, on Friday, 8 men were arrested. 3 others turned themselves in. And News Nation's Alex Thorson from our Richmond station WRAC talked to the parents of Adam Oakes.
Yeah, well, according to prosecutors, many, if not all of the men have now also been suspended from VCU as well, now facing judges charged with misdemeanor hazing, giving the minor alcohol, or both. Judges are also ordering the students be tested to make sure they don't drink or do drugs as court proceedings continue. You recall in February, 19-year-old Adam Oakes died of alcohol poisoning as an unofficial new pledge of VCU's Delta Chi fraternity. Prosecutors say Oakes was forced to binge drink, including finishing a large bottle of whiskey with his new big brother, Oaks found dead with a blood alcohol level of 0.40. Just for reference, that's 5 times the legal limit to drive. Prosecutors say there's evidence that he threw up and passed out at the party. His fraternity big brother claims he was watching over Oaks and saw him snoring a handful of hours before he was found dead. That's according to prosecutors. Today, outside of the courthouse, Oaks' parents believe justice is being served.
My son wasn't a huge drinker like that, and he was coerced to do it.
Many of the suspects are also ordered to either move back to Virginia or move in with their parents as well. In Richmond, I'm Alex Thorson.
All right, Alex, thank you. Well, students at Northwestern University, which is just outside of Chicago, are on high alert today after reports of several students being drugged at fraternities. And now the university putting a pause on all fraternity activities for the next few weeks. NewsNation's Dana Rebick from our Chicago station WGN spoke with students on campus who say the school should abolish Greek life altogether.
Students here on campus got email alerts about these alleged druggings that took place at 2 separate fraternity parties over the weekend. And campus officials now say that any social or recruitment activities at any fraternity on campus are suspended until at least October 17th. Now, campus police say that over the weekend they received multiple reports that individuals were drugged at a party at Sigma Alpha Epsilon in the 2300 block of Sheridan Road. That fraternity is currently in its first year back after a years-long suspension after 4 women reported they were drugged at a party in 2017. Campus police say this weekend another person reported being drugged at Alpha Epsilon Pi in the 500 block of Lincoln Street. 2,000 people protested outside these fraternities Sunday night, demanding Northwestern abolish Greek life altogether. An email sent to students says that their health, safety, and well-being are top priority, and Northwestern is taking the allegations very seriously. Students we spoke with today say they are not surprised to hear about these accusations.
Fortunately, no. I mean, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened. Unless the school takes meaningful action, it won't be the loss.
Campus police are currently investigating both of these drugging reports, which are also being looked at by the Office of Community Standards. We did reach out to both of these fraternities for comment. So far, they have not responded. In Evanston, Illinois, Dana Rebick. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, Dana, thank you. We'll still ahead tonight on Rush Hour. The end of an era for Cleveland baseball fans. NewsNation takes you to the final home game before the team officially changes names next season. And later, Saturday Night Live returning this weekend for a 47th season. A closer look at the 3 new cast members joining the show and the fan favorite leaving after 8 seasons. Well, it is officially the beginning of a new chapter for the Cleveland Indians. After more than 100 years, the baseball team played their final game as the Indians at Progressive Field this afternoon. And NewsNation's Jack Shea from our Cleveland station WJW is there live outside the stadium. Jack, you have been there all day. This was a big day, pretty emotional day for some fans.
That's right, Nicole. It was a bittersweet day here in Cleveland at the stadium. The team won, but a lot of fans say it was like a funeral for the Indians. However, others say it's time to move on and begin a new chapter in Cleveland sports history. Cleveland fans file into Progressive Field for the final home game of the Indians before they make the transition to the Cleveland Guardians in the 2022 season. For many Cleveland fans, the end of the Indians era is bringing back a flood of memories and emotions.
Sad. I am sure I will cry more than once today.
My dad worked for the Cleveland Indians. He was a ticket seller. I started coming to the game when I was 5 years old.
But other fans say it's time for Cleveland to move on to a new chapter.
People like to hold on to nostalgia. I can understand that. But progress has to be made. You know, this is new day, new time, new name. Just go with it.
The ball club says the transition from the Indians to the Guardians will begin in the offseason. One of the biggest jobs will be removing the giant Indians logo on top of the scoreboard. Fans will see the change from Indians gear to Guardians garb just in time for shopping during the holidays. While some fans say they will never accept the Guardians name, others say it's about supporting their team, no matter what they're called.
Next home opener would have been my 50th straight, and I won't go in. I just can't do it.
This is Cleveland, and they're still going to be the Indians in my heart till I die.
I will embrace the Guardians because they will be the team that we have, and I will not stop supporting my team.
The last official game of the Cleveland Indians will be on October 3rd in Texas. The first game of the new Guardians will be on March 31st, opening day of next season here at Progressive Field. Nicole?
All right, big changes. Jack, thank you for that. Still ahead tonight on Rush Hour, pro dancer Cheryl Burke does not shy away from telling fans of her major life moments, and we'll tell you what's behind this tearful Instagram post. And a Saturday Night Live cast shakeup. Who's in, who is out when the new season starts this weekend. NewsNation Rush Hour continues now live from our headquarters in Chicago. Here's what's happening in your nation right now. And new this evening, we just learned the man accused of a mass shooting at a Tennessee Kroger was asked to leave his job that morning. The info came from police through our Memphis affiliate, WREG. A co-worker telling our station 29-year-old Ook Thang was walked out of the store after he was fired. It looked like he did not want to leave. Later, he opened fire at the store, hitting 15 people. One of them died. He ultimately turned the gun on himself. The FBI says murder and manslaughter increased by nearly 30% in 2020. That's the highest single-year increase ever recorded in the country. Violent crime in general also rose, including murder, assault, robbery, and rape. There is some good news, though. Property crime declined. While the annual report doesn't go into the reasons behind the numbers, analysts say the pandemic likely played a role. The man who tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan 4 decades ago has been granted unconditional release. A federal judge says John Hinckley will be free from all restrictions by next June if he remains mentally stable. Hinckley, who is now 66 years old, has displayed no symptoms of active mental illness and no violent behavior. He was found not guilty back in 1982 by reason of insanity. The positive COVID results that derailed an interview on The View with Vice President Kamala Harris appear to have been a false alarm. Co-hosts Sunny Hostin and Ana Navarro were pulled off the air on live television Friday after it was reported both women had tested positive for the virus. Multiple follow-up tests conducted over the weekend produced negative results, suggesting the initial tests had been false positives. And some dramatic video. Look at this, a fiery rescue. This is San Jose, California. This is video by firefighters, but it shows police officer Pedro Garcia running to that burning car, pulling the driver to safety. Now listen to this. Officer Garcia just joined the San Jose Police Department in February. He tells us he's grateful he was in the right place at the right time. Great work by Officer Garcia there. And Kansas City Chiefs coach Andy Reid is out of the hospital and doing well. That's according to the team. Some good news. The 63-year-old treated for dehydration after yesterday's home loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. Reid is expected back at work later today or by tomorrow after missing his usual Monday conference. All right, the Donlin Report starts at the top of the hour. All right, welcome back. Dancing with the Stars will look a little different this week. Show veteran Cheryl Burke will be absent from the ballroom. The two-time winner says she tested positive for COVID. News Nation's Samantha Cortese from our Los Angeles station, KTLA, joining us live today. So, Samantha, this is a breakthrough case.
Nicole, it's a breakthrough case, and she posted an emotional Instagram post breaking the news to everybody, including the Boo Crew, people who are rooting for her and Cody. Here's a short clip.
The PCR test came back, and it came back positive, and I just feel so bad. I feel so bad for Cody. I feel like I'm letting him down.
The second live episode airs tonight. She said she was in disbelief. You heard her immediately thinking about her dance partner, Peloton instructor Cody Rigsby. She must now quarantine for at least 10 days. As for Rigsby, he is still waiting on his COVID-19 test results. As a rider with Cody, I know he's already had COVID. I know he's fully vaccinated. But if his test comes back negative, he will have to dance tonight with one of the alternate professionals.
Ooh, all right, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, Samantha, we're going to talk Britney Spears now, and soon fans can watch the new Netflix documentary, Britney versus Spears.
9 hours. The countdown is 9 hours, but it looks like we cannot just leave Britney alone. Another documentary, this one on Netflix, airs tonight at midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern. This is Britney versus Spears. 2 journalists will comb through 13 years of content, documents, clips, audio interviews. The film teases interviews with key players to tell the full story of the singer's conservatorship. And there have been 2 other documentaries about the pop icon, framing Britney Spears, controlling Britney Spears. They always make headlines when a big interview comes out. Her next hearing about ending the conservatorship is on Wednesday.
Just cannot get enough Britney. All right, Samantha, finally, Saturday Night Live returning this Saturday, but with a bit of a surprise.
Cast will be a little bit different. 2 key players are out this year. Beck Bennett and Lauren Holt are out. The big names, including Cecily Strong, Kate McKinnon, are coming back. There's Cecily. 3 new feature players have been added, including comedian James Austin Johnson, dubbed the world's greatest impersonator of former President Donald Trump. Alec Baldwin won an Emmy for his President Trump impersonation in 2017, but simply said, "I don't want to do it anymore." Other new additions include comic Aristotle Athari and actor Sarah Sherman.
I do have to say that Trump impersonation is very good. Samantha, as always, we love talking to you. Thank you so much. And as always, we like to leave you with a smile when we can. Tonight's comes courtesy of a herd of goats in Georgia, specifically goats on the loose in metro Atlanta, because why not? About 24 roaming along a road in Buckhead this morning, safely rounded up by animal control. No word tonight on why or how those goats ended up there. And that is all for News Nation Rush Hour. Next up, the Dahlman Report, then On Balance with Leland Bittert, and the debut of Dan Abrams Live, followed by News Nation Prime and Banfield. And do not forget to watch Morning in America weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern. Please have a great Monday night.